Number 23, goals versus vision. This is actually one of my favorite things to talk about. And, a lack of understanding of this, a lack of understanding of healthy goals is one of the reasons I think people really get hurt in network marketing, because people like, set huge goals, go for it. You fail there, like, just go for it again, right? And man, it's like you keep not hitting your goals over and over. That's not good for you, and it's not good for your identity. So what I would say is this. One of the first roles of a goal in your life, not the only role, but one of the first roles of a goal in your life, is to help you build confidence. Okay, so in terms of goals, David Bird taught me this, and David Bird was a leadership coach for Nerium when they went from $0 to $1 billion in cumulative sales, debt-free, privately held company in under 5 years. So maybe he knows a bit what he's talking about, right? And he goes, you need to be hitting your goals 70% of the time. If you're not hitting your goals 70% of the time, you need to dial it back, okay? So here's a great example of this, right? So he would get together with this particular client of his once a month, and they would go over different areas of her life. She had goals in different areas of her life. And we talk about, how did you do on your goals, right? So, business goals, relationship goals, whatever. Now, under her physical fitness goals, she had a goal to stretch her back every single day, right? But she wasn't doing it at all. And he looked at it, he goes, yeah, you got to get rid of this goal. She goes, no, but I need to. He goes, but you're not. She goes, no, it's got to get handled. He goes, no. He goes, I will not continue to allow you to fail. You've just got to get rid of this. It's not good for you. And she's like, look, she goes, here's the deal. She goes, I've got a congenital spinal issue. My husband is a physical therapist. For my long-term health, this has got to get handled. And he's like, okay. How about this coming month, we make your goal to do it one time the entire month? Would you actually do it? She laughs. She goes, of course I could do that. Yes, I would do that. Awesome. So they get together the next week, and he's like, how's that going? And she's like, I did it once a week. He's like, congratulations, you're 400% over your stated goal. Now, according to the last goal, she would still suck. According to the new goal, she's doing amazing. And guess what? Now she stretches her back every single day. But she had to put deposits in her personal integrity account. And she needed the experience of saying in front of a group of peers or in front of your mentor, by the way, I did what I said I was going to do. Okay. Another great example is ABC's Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition. Okay. And so they're working with Bob, I keep on picking on Bob. Bob's got 200 pounds to lose. Okay. And so when they first get together with Bob, they being the pro, and Bob's like, oh, what's the plan? He's just curious. Okay, what are we doing? And they're like, look, Bob, here's your goal this week. All we want you to do is to drink 1 quart of water more per day than you normally do. Bob's like, laughs, like, yeah, I could do that, but that's not going to help me lose 200 pounds. And I'm like, calm down. Just do this and move forward, okay? Now, at the end of the program, when you interview Bob, who's lost 200 pounds, and you ask Bob, tell us about your experience in the program, Bob's not going to say, I lost 200 pounds. He's going to say, I learned how to keep promises to myself. So on your entrepreneur journey, we need goals. That makes sense. We need to be making progress. But as you're doing it, you need to carefully evaluate that you need to make sure that you're hitting your goals consistently. And if not, you need to dial them back so that you are hitting them. Because it's about putting deposits in your personal integrity account and creating identity as someone who is powerful and follows through. Because the number one driver in human performance is to be 100% in alignment, right, with your identity. So if your identity is, I don't ever follow through and do, and you go, so cool, you make all the goals you want, but you'll still operate in alignment with the identity, okay? So when we talk about goals versus vision, so I'll often ask people, what's your vision, okay? Here's one way to say it. Imagination is much more powerful than willpower. imagination is much more powerful than willpower. So we're going to talk a little bit more into the quantum esoteric mystical stuff here a little bit, okay? So a vision, so you can go through life in one or two ways. You can allow your current circumstance and environment to impact what you're thinking and feeling and saying and doing, or use your God-given imagination and corresponding accurate emotion and so clearly see and feel the desired end result with such clarity of detail and emotion that you allow that vision to impact what you're thinking, feeling, saying, and doing. So with the vision, I'm living there already, okay? And I'm using my imagination. Much of my being thinks it has already happened. And in that vision, what I suggest you do is you can see it clearly, keep it simple. I should be able to ask you like what the weather's like, what you're wearing, what you see around you as evidence of your success. Maybe you're taking your spouse on a vacation who's been like poo-pooing your little network marketing business forever. And you're like, how do you like it now? Sitting on a beach, sipping a margarita, buddy, and your spouse, your significant other, usually a husband, I'm just telling you, usually it's the husband who's like, what's this business you're doing? Oh man, there's so much satisfaction in like, either shape up your attitude, son, or I'm taking my friend on the vacation and not you. Right? I've seen so many husbands like, they're on a beach on vacation. They're like, this is an amazing business we have. Like, very nice. But clarity of detail and emotion, see it and feel it. You don't have to know how you got there. Don't worry about that. But keep asking yourself, how come it was so easy to create this? How come it was so easy to create this? And allow your imagination to pull beautiful ideas and see opportunities in your life, and you'll be shocked how well I did this. I did this years ago. When I started making pretty good money, I started writing out a number. I realized I couldn't stay in one place. So I'm like, started writing out a big number. Like, I was making more money than I ever made in my life, but this number was twice that, right? So we'll be transparent here. The number was $41,384.62 a month in income. And I wrote it out over and over and over and over. So I was making about $20,000 a month, right? And I kept on writing it. I didn't know how it was gonna work, right? And that was kind of November, December 21, right? And I'm still working in this business that I'm making $20,000 a month from. And it comes to July, and that business, the company makes some changes, and all of a sudden my volume in just 1 month drops 90%. Like, I'm not making progress towards that goal. I'm still writing out, still visualizing, leaving it. So another business comes into my life in November 17th. I start working on that. It's going pretty good. But I'm still writing this number out, right? And in February of 22, someone introduces me to another network marketing. I wasn't really looking at it, wasn't interested, tried to poop it away, but I made one post about it and it went crazy. And I started doing real well in one business, and then in the second business, they start working synergistically. Man, everything's going really, really good, going well. And then what happens in the beginning of 2023, I'm making good money, and I'm keeping track of it on a spreadsheet because I want to tie it to my church, okay? And after about 5 months, I look at my spreadsheet and I have all the totals of all my different incomes, and then I go, well, I wonder what the average is. So I have it compute the average, and the average for those 5 months was within $300 of that number I had written out over and over and over and over and over. So now, be transparent, both those businesses, both of them are gone, okay? But now my vision is $84,386.33 a month in income. How that's gonna happen, I'm not sure. But it's a vision, not a goal. Does that make sense? I work on living there, not did I do it, right? So a goal has a time deadline. It's very measurable. Does that make sense? It's like it requires actual action. And I need to make sure if you have goals that you're like following through on them consistently. So hope that helps. Have a clear vision, right? It's how my mom beat terminal cancer. It's how I created a coaching business. How did I do that? I decided I was going to do it, and I decided, what can my vision be? And I imagined with great clarity of detail and emotion, I would imagine picking up my phone on a Sunday night and I wonder what my week looks like. And on my phone, I can see the Google Calendar on Week View and I see appointments on it. And I'm like, oh, there's like a lot of appointments. So in my imagination, I start counting every single one. And I get to Saturday and like there's 18, 36, 72. That's over 70 a month. That was over $7,000 a month in income at the time. Was amazing, like, because I had done part-time coaching, done a great job for many years, but never full-time. I looked at it and I kept on asking myself, how come it was so easy? How come it was so easy? And I got 3 ideas on how to do it. Because I was asking the question, and I implemented those 3 ideas. And within 2 months, I had that full-time coaching business. Anyways, hope that helps. Goals, man, you got to be hitting it 70% of the time, making sure that your goals and how well you're following through are building your self-esteem and identity. Vision, it's like reaching the future. You don't need to know how it gets there. Just have clarity of detail and emotion. You don't have to have, you have to have, see yourself doing it. You don't have to know what you were doing, but like I love life and I'm with my new spouse and I'm walking on the beach and everything's beautiful. Cool, what's the weather like? You can tell me, are you wearing sandals, barefoot, like everything, right? It's like, if that's what you want to create, you want a vision in your life for a new partner in life, then like make it clear. Make it so clear that the emotions are there. Make it so clear that you have a lot of the benefit already of it. That makes sense. So for example, for my new goal of this, it's $1 million a year in income. Part of it, I see myself in my adventure van with some really nice pricey upgrades and we're driving to Alaska. Sometimes what I do is I visualize like a stack of money and I'm just tossing money at redoing my deck, and then I'm redoing the kitchen for my wife, and we're redoing this cottage kind of place I'm in right now so that we have more space here, and redoing the kind of maybe one a pool. Does that make sense? It's like, and the feeling that I can do that for my family and it's an accomplished reality. And that's a powerful vision that will help you create / manifest faith, whatever you want to call it. So hope that helps.